What's up, guys? It's your boy Darius again with Let's Argy Bargy. The channel always seems to have a problem. I want to try something new. I really enjoy manga and anime, and I got my boy AJ here. He's also a fan of manga and anime, and I want to do this thing called Manga Mondays, where we'll take a new, underground, popular, unpopular manga, whatever it may be, and we'll just talk about it and get your opinions from it in the comment section down below. And if you guys actually have any suggestions, please let me know as well in the comments. But today we're talking about Eden Zero, the new manga that came out by Hiro Mashima, the same creator that made Rave Master and Fairy Tail. And I have high hopes for it, and I wonder if you guys have high hopes for it as well. So basically, with the start of this manga, it gives me the same feel that every Hiro Mashima project does. It's so fun, it's so lively, it has so much potential, but like every project, it kind of gets to that mushy part in the middle where it's just like ass pulls and plot armor and the power of friendship and shit like that. And that's probably the only drawback I would have of Hiro Mashima's work. It's just that you can feel like an editor is just like over his back, just like basically writing and drawing for him. It's just like, no. Do it like this. It'll sell more. And like, I hate that so much. But like, it always starts off interesting and unique for me. The character models for certain.
That's a Mashima.
That is a hero stamp of approval. Like,
yes,
every character, main character for sure. Haru
Glory,
Natsu.
This is now we got the new character Shiki.
Shiki looks exactly like every character model. Now Rebecca, what was it? Elle from Rave Master,
Ellie and Lucy
Heartfelia. They all look the same, just like with a twist.
Yep.
But like, I can even take Rebecca. Rebecca's fine because each character looks distinctively different. Like, same face, but hair's different. They all have different personalities. But every main male character in his works are just carbon copies of one another. Same hair, same personality, kind of same backstory. Doesn't have no family. No siblings. It's just like, I'm going on this big journey because what else am I going to do? Just
headstrong
as
want smoke with everybody.
He never runs from smoke. Oh man, everyone is my best friend, even if I literally just met you. Like, right. Oh man, you had a conversation with me.
Friends,
bros for life, man. Like,
all
that shit is so. That's the biggest drawback. But other than that, like, I love the art styles. I love the powers in it. Like, the abilities, I say, are top-notch in creativity, especially in Fairy Tail. Like, I've never seen so many different kinds of, like, magic. But in this world, unlike the other two projects, the power is Ethereal.
It's like ether.
But, like, everyone has it this time. Because, like, in the other project, it was just like, man, only a select few in all of the existence know of Ethereum, but like, it's in everything now, which is cool. It kind of levels out the playing field because it's this monster, strong, no one really knows what it is, but it just destroys type magic or whatever. So that's cool. And Shiki's ability is gravity based.
Yeah, so it's like, like you said, everyone has ether, but in this world, everyone doesn't inherently know how to use it, like straight out the gate.
That's true. That's true.
You know, everyone. You know, we have Shiki who has the gravity. Was it the gravity mod or like the gravity ether? Lets him just basically freely control gravity however he wants to do. But then you have some characters, and I guess this is the different draw from Rave Master or Fairy Tail, aka Rave Master 2.
Yeah, basically,
is that in this world, everyone has at least something, and I would say that is technology.
So ether kind of is incorporated in the technology because Lucy, and you'll learn later, I guess early in the chapter. Oh, I'm sorry, Rebecca. Happy is
robot.
A robot that also is its core power is like ether, but it turns into like twin pistols. Mm-hmm. You know, so instead of Rebecca having an actual ability, she just uses Happy to turn into pistols, and then the bullets are ether. Like, it's, and then I think, what is his name? The Weiss. Even now I still don't quite get what his abilities are. Like, I'm sure I'll learn later, but I know he can just like touch technology and kind of just like, I'm gonna make it better. I'm
So
improve on
so
it.
he is. I feel like in other genres, what people may call a bit of a technomancer. He just manipulates technology kind of freely. He can make improvements on the fly. There's a point in the manga where they were escaping from basically a black hole or something like that, and
that planet was.
He reconfigures the ship to be a more efficient ship and to fly faster. You know?
He did.
So he can just freely change it. And this guy, you can tell, like you said, all the works are connected. So when I saw Wise, I was like, that's Musica from freaking Rave Master.
You thought Musica?
Yes.
I immediately thought of Gray.
Well,
but they're all the same.
So the reason, so the reason why I say he's more like Musica, and I don't even think like young. Well, I guess somewhat like young.
Well, I mean, in the story, there's an old Weiss and a young Weiss, but when you go to the planet and meet young Weiss, you'll understand.
You know what's crazy?
What?
In Rave Master, there's a young Musica and an old Musica.
He's recycling damn plot points, but like it's so fun to read. Like I always have a good time until it gets to that really big corn, generic, gimmicky type stuff, and it's just like, man, I don't know if I want to read this anymore. Like that's how I felt about Fairy Tail. Like towards the end, like when what happened, where it was like a world war type thing or whatever. Like who were those like superpowers, like the strongest wizards in the land or something like that?
They were the people who were with Zareth.
Yeah, like on a completely different continent. And then like at that point I was just like, this is getting real gimmicky. But in Hero's defense, Rave Master in my eyes was good all the way through.
Yeah, cover to cover.
Cover to cover, I enjoyed every bit. Yeah, it had some gimmicky, some shonen-esque cliches in it, but it was still fun. And that's why I feel this one is starting off as
it definitely has a lot of the obvious cliche kind of anime manga beginnings. We have a kid, you know, our main character Shiki, who is in a place where he kind of shouldn't belong because he's surrounded by robots. We've seen that, you know, like we have a kid who's surrounded by people who are maybe of a completely different race, or you know, maybe he's raised by animals, something.
But that's just a plot point to get him out of here. Just
right.
Like, you're not supposed to be here. Come take this journey.
And then we have a thing where it's like, oh man, his dad or his father figure is the Demon Lord, you know, and it's just like, okay, you know, and the Demon Lord teaches him like a forbidden art, you know, something, you know.
True, like, which is almost like cut for cut Fairy Tail.
Yeah, and he learns it, and, you know, we get that whole beginning where someone sees his power and they're like, yo, what is that? And then someone explains, yo, I haven't seen something like that in a long time. Now, what bugs me about Eden Zero is that we do get that, but I think like 2 chapters after Shiki uses his ability, someone's like, oh yeah, he's using the ether gear.
True. So it has the setup of a cliche shonen element, but I think since this is his third works that I'm familiar with, it's just like, all right, cool. We're gonna blow past this because you already know how this is gonna go, and let's get to the meat of it. So instead of just like, oh man, you know what? This is some ancient ability. It's just like, from our perspective as a viewer, we're thinking, oh shit, like Shiki knows something that he should know. But then when he goes outside of his planet, meets other people, just like, oh, you're nothing particularly special,
right?
You know, we all can do that shit. He just didn't know that. And as we're seeing the world through his eyes, we didn't know either.
And what's crazy is that some people can, you know, recognize it. You know, it's like, hey, that's ether. That's an ether gear ability. You know, like that's kind of wild. You know, where'd you get that? And then we learn later on in the manga. The manga's only about 17 chapters in so far, but we learn later on that someone actually says, hey, technically, anyone can learn an ether gear ability. You know, it just takes some doing. Because Rebecca goes, oh, even I can learn it, and then they're like, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, but like in this world, it's different than the other worlds. It's just like you need to learn an ability to I guess progress as whatever class or job you are. But in this world, it's more like yeah, you can learn ether abilities, or you can just have ether gear, which will kind of give you the same effect.
So what I do like about Eden Zero is that I feel like it's a little closer to Rave Master than it is Fairy Tail. Not in its like looks and aesthetics, but in its like actual. I don't want to say story, but I guess some of the planning behind it. Because in Rave Master,
like he was going back to his roots or something.
Right. In Rave Master, everyone wasn't special.
Yeah, like so. In what was it in The Incredibles, where it's just like if everyone has superpowers, nobody's super.
Exactly.
Like that's how I kind of feel. Just like yo, everyone has access to the ether.
So in Fairy Tail, everyone is special, basically.
Right.
You know, in Eden Zero, there are grunts all over the place. You know, there are people who are just like, yo, what, huh? You know,
yeah.
like shoot, Rebecca is basically normal outside of Happy.
She is normal now. Rebecca, obviously she's going to be important to the story. He does it every time. He makes the main girl have some latent sleeping ability or something like that. But like so far right now, she's just a B-cuber,
which is a YouTuber.
Which is a YouTuber in our world, and it's like some like augmented reality type B-cuber or something like that. Or like what's that? Like holograms or something like that. And she was only at the planet just to film. Like
right.
She wasn't there for any grand reason. It felt organic, just like I didn't know anything about you or the planet's circumstances or who resided here. I'm just trying to film and get my views up, and I love that so much. I can't stand when manga or anime kind of the beginning of the story is just like this is some destined occurrence, a meeting or something like that. It's just like like it was literally a happenstance. Like I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
Right, and I do like that as weird as gonna say, that bit of realism to it, where it's Rebecca's like, hey, she meets Shiki and Shiki's doing all this crazy, ether gear stuff. She goes, that's wild, that's crazy, but that looks like some hot shit. So I'm gonna need some footage. You know what I mean? Like they're flying somewhere at one point, and Shiki's like, yo, let me fly. And he's like, do you know how to fly, Shiki? Nah. And she goes, I need footage of this. This will be good.
This will be awesome. Like I love that. Like their dynamic, their relationship is just like it's almost childish. Because like the entire objective so far, which I feel is super loose, like I don't think it's tight enough to hold a story, but they want to see Mother, which is some planet-sized humanoid goddess or whatever that no one has ever seemed to see or come back alive from. Like thousands, millions of people went to go see Mother, and somehow she's tied or connected to Shiki's dad, the Demon King. Mm-hmm. And then he was such a famous, or I don't know, well-known, infamous person that like periodically we meet people that kind of know who Shiki is. I'm just like, yeah, of course.
Right,
Elsie?
Elsie, yeah. Elsie is like a pirate
Urza
captain.
Urza
2 is like a pirate captain, and she shows up and she's like, oh yeah, you're Shiki, yeah, I knew Shiki. Anyway, here's a ship.
Right. Well, she had kidnapped him at first, and he was just like, what the hell? We're just trying to live,
yeah.
I guess. And she was just like, nah, we're gonna sell you or something like that. I think that's how it went down. He was like, nah,
I ain't trying to get sold.
You got the right one today.
So,
and then like he beat like a clone of her, and he was just like, you can have the ship. It's like that easy. It's like I was gonna give it to you anyway.
Right, like and she has a huge fleet, and there's already like a
antagonist.
An antagonist,
which doesn't necessarily mean bad person. Just he's trying to stop whatever progress our main characters are making for whatever reason of his own. Which is who we were just talking about this.
Justice.
Yeah, Justice. Who does he look like? Who was that guy in Rave Master that sat at the little gate thing on that rock until he died?
Is that Sheba?
I don't know.
Okay.
It starts with an S. I keep wanting to say Siegfried.
Siegfried is the guy with the blue hair.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, was that him?
Yes, they're all the same.
Okay, they're all the same person.
Okay, we're back on track. I can already see a relationship budding between those two because they've been chasing after each other for who knows how long. But like, because I have prior knowledge of all his other works, I can already kind of see how plot points will play out, which kind of also ruins the story for me a little bit. Though I am excited, don't get me wrong, don't let anything I say deter you from thinking that I'm not excited to read Eden Zero, which I am. It's just I have seen a lot of his plot devices before, so it kind of spoils certain situations for me. But if you're coming to this situation blind, I don't think you'll know.
Yeah, I feel like every Mashima work, if you were to come into it reading nothing prior, you know, if you're reading Fairy Tail for the first time, you're reading Rave Master, Eden Zero for the first time, this might be a pretty fun ride. And then if you do have prior experience, certain things may make you go, but then other things might, you know, still want to keep you into it. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole, I know you said like the goal was kind of loose, you know, I want to see Mother, but that's like Shiki's plan. You know, Shiki's plan.
But Shiki didn't even have that plan until Rebecca said something.
And then Rebecca's plan is literally still
just to get more views.
To get more views as a beekeeper. And she was like, seeing Mother will give me all the views.
Because nobody's seen Mother, which is a legit thing for me. Like, that's fine. If you're trying to be famous, you're trying to get views, you're trying to get subscribers, whatever. It's just like, yo, what hasn't been done before? I respect that so much. Like, and I get it, but with Shiki, he just accepted that his dad was dead. He's been fixing up all the other machines on his planet. And then when Rebecca shows up, like, they all just died. And he's just like, man, what am I going to do now? And then she was just like, well, I'm going to go see Mother. Because, I mean, I want to see Mother. He was like, I mean, I'll go with you. Like, that's what I mean by loose. Like, he didn't have any... I didn't feel like he had a strong enough desire, strong enough need to do anything until she said something. And then later on... oh yeah, you know, Ziggy went to go see Mother, and he was just like, oh, now I really have a reason to go. I was just like, oh, okay.
It's definitely loose. It's definitely like a bit rushed.
We are flying through it
because it was just like, here I am, you know, I'm on this planet. All these robots are my friends. The Demon King is like my dad figure. He dies first, and then. What actually happens? All the robots kind of turn against him.
Yeah, they turn against him just to push him away. Just like,
and then
and then
we find out that like, because Shiki, you know, he was there as a child, and anytime the robots would mess up, Shiki would fix them, but the robots actually fixed themselves.
Yeah, Shiki wasn't doing anything in particular, but like. Shiki was a child on a planet that was basically deserted. Like, it used to be like a theme park type planet, I think. And then they stopped getting, you know, customers. They stopped getting money in. So after a while, I think these robots will just, like, become obsolete, like, just on their own. And there's no one there to, like, keep them running.
Yeah.
So the robots was just like, man, Shiki, you need to get out of here. But they did it in such a backwards kind of way. Like, let's make him hate us. Or resent us so that he'll leave on his own. But even when he did leave, and you see him on the ship, he's just crying. Like, he understood. We all understood. You know, this isn't a new plot device. But, I mean, that's cool. That's fine. I do like how futuristic this world is. Because every world prior to this one had a old-timey feel to it. With splashes of technology, like as a
it was all still very like commonplace for you, like, hey, we need some light in here, and then they lit a fucking lantern or something.
Right, or like they'll get like a carriage, a horse and carriage or something like that.
Like even in Fairy Tail, when it was like, this is a flying airship, and it's like an airship. Anytime there's an airship, it's like, man, that means y'all don't have the technology for a plane.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but in this universe,
like the world of Avatar.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this universe is like very heavy technology. You know, we're going from planet to planet. We're not just going from like, all right, we need to get to the next country.
Right, which I love more because it reminds me a lot of One Piece. Because like each island in One Piece has its own arc, like its own world, its own set of rules, which I love so much. Because like they can hop to like the cosmos is infinite. There's infinite possibilities, and I'm interested to see how Hero will like incorporate his ideas into these actual planets. Because the planet that I remember most recently them visiting is where we met Weiss, and that planet was 50 years in the past because, what was it, a planet eater or a time eater?
There's a creature that exists in that universe that consumes time, but it looks like it consumed it in a way to where it was basically cut off.
Right, it was cut off from the reality, I guess, of time outside of its planet's like, atmosphere.
That 50 years in the past, like those events leading up to that point would just loop. So the Space Police actually sectioned off that planet from literally anyone else so that no one could go there and actually get trapped in that time loop like the main characters actually
But
did.
if that was the case, how did they get there anyway? Like, they had no idea that there was this fog of forgetfulness.
They got told to go there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got told to go there.
No, they were looking for Weiss. Okay,
and so they told him that he was there. And then he went there, and they were like, "Oh!" And then that's when they found out the young version of him, and
which was cool. He is a bad guy. Well, he's not bad. He's more like, I care about myself and my own interests.
So he is bad in the way that if you steal, you're bad.
Yeah, like crime. I mean, like is what I'm saying, Joe Blow who stole from the corner store. That wasn't even scripted. Is he a bad guy because he had some fucking like ho-hos and ding-dongs in his place?
He's bad because he committed a crime, but he is not of like evil nature.
Right, that's the equivalent of Weiss. But also Weiss, when he was on that ship, it was just like, man, this ship is mine.
Yeah.
It was like, you in what army? He was just like, I mean, if we can get off this planet, it's mine.
It's mine.
It's like,
you kind of don't have an option at that point. So.
That's true, because I mean, luckily, I guess they got, but I mean, he's just gonna be part of the crew.
Obviously, like the crew is basically set up. We have Shiki as our lead.
That reminds me, EMP, that little girl thing,
Peon,
busted.
Yeah.
Because everything is technology based and like ether based. Like even Shiki gets shut down for a minute.
Exactly, everyone gets shut down for a minute.
Fuck no, that thing is indiscriminate.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Everything gets shut down, so everything goes basically to zero.
I mean, it evens the playing field, but like your enemies and your allies are just like shit. Like,
but I already can tell that, and I guess this is from his other works, or even just manga and anime period, that somebody's going to come around and someone's going to be, stronger than whatever that thing's going to be able to produce.
Oh, yeah, because like, the elevation of power scaling or whatever.
Right, because remember in Fairy Tail, even though it wasn't a big point, when they were talking about Fairy Law. Fairy Law was that.
Fairy Law was supposed to be
the one.
Yeah, but it never, ever, in anything I've ever seen, has, like, the final, like,
I think one time.
In what?
One time in Fairy Tail.
What time?
I can't even remember. It wasn't when he was fighting Zero. It was Natsume Zero.
That's still the best fight.
He was fighting some other guy with dark eyes. I can't remember who. I don't know if it was on Tenro Island.
Man, that reminds me real quick. Was that Natsu's bot? No, it wasn't. When we were on that island and that guy, he looked almost just like Natsu, had the same fire style as Natsu.
Are you talking about the God Slayer fire?
Yeah. I forgot that we actually saw Natsu's parent, who looks like ordinary Jim. Like,
that's right, we did see him.
We did for like one tiny panel.
I was like, that's his dad.
It's like, man, that's your biological. We should be focusing on him, but no, this dragon is your dad. I was like, okay.
I mean, think about it. If you have a person or a dragon, the dragon's probably going to be just a little bit more interesting.
So a little more interesting, but like it just doesn't work that well. But also, couldn't the dragons turn back into humans or something?
I think that was it.
Because that's what, because Agnolia, whatever that big bad dragon in the end, like he was definitely human at one point.
He turned human.
I don't know. That's another thing about Fairy Tail and just Hiro Mashima in general. Like he has an obsession with dragons.
Who's the dragon in Reef Master besides the dragon race? I guess.
I can't think of it.
Yeah, I think it was just the dragon race.
It was a dragon race, and then it was all about dragons. And now there's dragons that eat planets.
And then, they were all like, oh yeah, that's another big thing in Eden Zero is everyone's like, hey guys, explore space, but watch out for dragons. One dragon will destroy a whole fleet, and it's just like
it will though.
And everyone's like, okay, and it's just like, well, I guess we have. It's like a checklist almost. It's like, all right, watch out for space cops. Watch out for dragons.
Watch out for pirates.
Watch out for pirates. Watch out for Time Eater.
Right, like it's there's so much out there, like, but it seems so. The scaling of the world, just in general, is just so big because it's just like, yeah, we fly and zip through space. Like for us normal everyday people, like we've never been to space.
Right.
Some of us never even been out the country, and they're just hopping from planet to planet.
And I think I'm not trying to belittle or diminish Hero's work or anything like that, but I feel like the planet, them going to different planets, is a bit of an illusion to making the world big, because you could basically do the same thing by just doing it with like different cities or different countries.
True, you can get the exact same effect.
Well, it definitely feels bigger, and it's probably a better call to make it like, hey, we're going to a new planet. But even when they go to a new planet, they don't go anywhere, really. They go to a new planet and they stay in like one place. You know what I mean?
That's true. So, I mean, if that's the case, well, he was trying to go with the theme of space,
right.
Which is dope. Like, I love the idea of it, but I guess the technology or the advancement of science has made it almost as just like, yeah, I guess, I'm not doing shit. I'll go hop over to this planet, which seems so extraordinary to me and almost unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously it doesn't happen in real life, but it's just like, so you mean like one page we're on Granbell and the next page, you know what I'm saying, we're in Sakura Town or something?
Right.
I don't know. Like, it's fine. I have to give him more time to flesh out his story.
Right. Like, it's still in its early stages. It's only 17 chapters in.
Can you see it as an anime?
I can, at this point in time, the way
he writes?
No, the way adaptations go, I can see almost anything being an anime.
Man, but some stuff is not adaptable.
I definitely could see this as an anime. I could see it, but not right now, obviously, because it's still too early. They would hit the canon block, is what I like to call it. Before.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we only have enough chapters for like half a season.
Exactly. So, but I could definitely see this as an up and coming fucking new summer anime.
But does it have like? I mean, okay, it can be adapted. We can see it as an anime, but do you think it would be successful as an anime? Does it have the elements to make like a really good story?
Looking at Fairy Tail, nah, because I mean Fairy Tail kind of. Well, I guess it comes from me looking at Fairy Tail from a more critical view and being like, all right, Fairy Tail is kind of meh because of this, this, and this. Because I read it all the way through. Mm-hmm. I
remember Elflife, the same
person who did Reborn.
Yeah, like that didn't go well, but you would think like all the elements that were in it, which are similar to Eden Zero, it would work, but it didn't.
And that's the thing. So I believe that people can get better, but people can also get worse. Because like we had Rave Master, which was
Rave Master in my eyes is his best.
That was great, and then we had Fairy Tail, and I'm not even gonna lie, Fairy Tail started off
exactly.
great.
Every single work that he's done has started off fun, full of energy, full of life, and then somewhere down the road, and I'm talking about Fairy Tail specifically, it just kind of hits a wall where it's just a whole bunch of nonsense, a whole bunch of
bad, I guess.
Writing.
Yeah, bad writing. Yeah.
Bad storytelling. I don't know. It's just, I feel Fairy Tail should have ended way sooner than it did, but obviously you can tell that the editors, in my opinion, was just like, nah, we need to keep this money train going. Same with Naruto. I feel like Naruto should have ended right after
the pain arc.
Actually, the pain arc definitely is where it should have
Yeah, that's where it should have been.
We could have entered a whole new Naruto, like, arc, like how there was Naruto then Shippuden. We could enter like a whole new Naruto thing.
Yeah. So and like my thing with Fairy Tail is that there was, I guess the writing was poor. Very specific poor writing example was people not dying.
Oh my god! How many times did Markarov
yeah.
like? Even the last time he died, which was probably death number 4 or 3, and like. Me and Adrian were talking. I was like, man, he's not gonna stay dead. Then another chapter came out, and then another. Then we got like 5, 6, 7 chapters deep. And it's like, yo, he's dead
gone.
For real. Finally, no, he's not. He's not dead at all. Like you can't keep doing that. It loses its impact, especially after like the second time.
Right.
Like it meant there were no consequences to anything.
Right.
If you will never die, you will never lose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what's the point? Like that's really what made me want to stop reading Fairy Tail altogether. That was probably the number one reason. Just like no one dies, there's no stakes. There's nothing to lose.
I don't mind if no one dies in something as long as they don't bring up the threat of death.
See, I'm cool with that as long as it's not life threatening. Just like, yo, if you don't do this, everyone will die, or you will die, or death is looming over you. There's death flags everywhere, and then somehow, some way, he kind of just snatch it from underneath us. And it's like everything's fine, don't worry about it. Just like no, like you can't build up the suspense, you can't build up the tension, and then kind of just give us some deflated excuse as to why so-and-so isn't dead. It's not that I wish death on characters. It's just don't threaten me with death and then kind of just about it.
I feel like we may still get something akin to that in Eden Zero.
Definitely. If it's the same creator and if he has the same method of writing,
right,
it'll get to that point.
So we might get to that point. I feel like out of all like a bunch of like the major mangaka, Hero is more of a lighter writer.
Absolutely. I think there was an interview once because people kept asking us like, yo, why don't anyone die in Fairy Tail? He's like, well, just because they're dead, if in my mind they're not dead, then they're not dead. I was like,
that's wild.
That's not even that's just gibberish. You're not making any sense.
But like
if in my mind I'm rich, I'm just rich. It's like, but there's no money in your pocket.
I guess that's the thing with like a fictional work, especially one that's in the making. You know, you can do whatever you want. So I mean,
you can do whatever you want, but don't treat your readers as idiots.
Well, also, is Eden Zero in Jump?
Yeah, I feel like it should be. I didn't check on that.
Because if it's not in Jump, we might get something a little different.
True, because Jump has a certain standard to it.
Jump has a certain standard, and their editors are really.
Their reach is a lot bigger than I'd say any other kind of publishers. Because Attack on Titan is not in Jump.
No, it's not.
And that's extremely dark.
So we'll like you said earlier. You know, it's still early, so we might. You know, we just have to give it some time to see what it is. I'm 17 chapters in. I'm definitely, down to read another 50 or so, before I go, all right, this is...
Absolutely. I'll give it a good long read until it just gets to a point where it's like, okay, this is gimmicky. And
right.
I'm too old and I'm over it, and I'll stop. But...
Seems cool so far.
I'm having a good time. Don't have any complaints. Like I said, I don't have no complaints so far. It's just I can't help but compare it to his other works.
My only complaint so far, and I feel like I should have mentioned this earlier, was the fact that they changed Shiki's character design to look more like.
Oh
Natsu.
yeah, when he had long hair.
I did like I liked the long hair because
he looked like Gajil.
I would have preferred him to look like Gajil and be a main character than look like Natsu and Haru and be a main character.
I would have loved it if he looked like young Weiss and been the main character. I was like, oh, that's completely different from what you.
Weiss looks like Sting.
Sting. Oh, the white dragon.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, he does. But like that looks so cool instead of the rough looking spiky hair, big eyes. Just like you've done that before, man. Give me
You've
something.
done everything before, so at this point we're just looking at what's going to be the best recycled piece of art.
True. Like he should. I feel with this work, he should refine it to the best point because you didn't have a couple works under your belt that was well received, and there was a lot of criticism. So I feel like this should be the apex of his writing ability, at least at this point in time in his life.
It's pretty soon after the end of Fairy Tail too.
Yeah, like what, less than 2 years.
Yeah. So.
He must have had this one cooking. But that's all that we can come up with for now about Eden Zero. If you guys have anything else to add, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys want us to review or talk about any other manga that you're interested in, please let me know as well. We'll definitely read up on it if we haven't already and make a video about it. I'm trying to do these every Monday and do Manga Mondays, but with scheduling and we all work, you know, we're going into that fourth quarter. Holidays are coming up, so it may be a little spotty, but definitely keep an eye out for it. Please subscribe, and thanks, you guys.